Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for GWBC Radio's Open for Business. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of GWBC Open for Business, and this is going to be a fun one. Today on the show, we have Littie Brown, and she is with SpeedPro Marietta. Welcome.
Thank you, Lee. How are you?
I am so excited to be catching up with you. Tell us a little bit about SpeedPro for the folks who aren't familiar with what you do.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, first of all, SpeedPro Marietta is located in Marietta, Georgia. We're a large format printing company, so we produce every types of sign available to our customers, from a banner to a wall graphic to their vehicle wraps to their trade show displays. So all things printing, graphic printing, we can help our customers with.
Now, what's your backstory? How did you get involved in the printing business?
They ask me that a lot. And my story has nothing to do with printing or this being where I was going to end up in my career. I spent 35 years in corporate America working for 3 Fortune 500 companies. And when I decided to leave the last company, Granger Industrial Supply, I was looking for something different and something new. And so I was exploring and received a call from a franchise consultant who said, you ought to consider owning your own business. My business partner right now, and one of my best friends that always wanted to own her own business. So I was showing her all of the information. And one day we just sat down and said, well, maybe it's something we could do together. And we looked at it and saw the options. The SpeedPro franchise model was one that drove our attention for a couple of reasons. One, we wanted something that we'd actually work in the business, probably not as hard as I'm working right now, but we wanted to actually work the business and not just buy something for pricing. And it was new to the industry. You know, graphic printing, it's been around for a little bit, but it's really taken off, in these last 12, 15 years, where people are graphically putting large signs out and visible graphics for drawing attention for their customers and for their events. So we thought this would be a good one. And there was an existing business here in Marietta, and we jumped on it. And we've been here now. We celebrated 9 years on yesterday. So it's surprising it's been that long.
Well, congratulations on that accomplishment. That's a big deal, and I hope you take a moment to really appreciate that journey. It's a hard one.
Yes, and especially during 2 years of a pandemic.
Now, can you talk a little bit about that that moment? You're in a transitional period, right? You went from corporate, and then you're going to do this entrepreneurial adventure. Was there kind of a voice in the back of your head saying, oh, this is a big risk, I don't know if I can do this? Like, did you have any of that kind of apprehension, or was this something like you were just kind of ready to go and just go boldly forward? I think a lot of people are in that same spot, right, where they have that moment where they're in a big company and then all of a sudden they're not, and now they have to make a decision about their future. And you chose a very brave choice. Can you talk about how that decision came about and what gave you the confidence to go forward?
That's a really good question, because, like I said, it was not something that I stepped out on it and looked at. But I felt confident in my years of experience that, I could go out and market myself. I had the backing of a good business partner who was very operational and who could quickly understand how to navigate the actual process and the equipment and the inside part of the business. And then we did, it was a lot of prayer, a lot of stepping out and saying, hey, if we're going to ever do it, this would be the time to do it. And I will also say that there's a little bit less fear when you have your finances in a good spot. And so because I had that, I wasn't relying on the business, coming out of the gate, being able to afford my lifestyle. So that was a big piece that made the decision a little bit easier, that you're not risking, everything that you had built up. So, what I tell people that are looking at, what they should do, or should they jump out there, you've got to, feel comfortable with your finances and knowing coming out of the gate, owning your own business, you're not going to make the money that you were making when you leave your regular job. But there's a point in time that you got to just commit and put all your effort into it and go forward. So that was it. I won't say just boldly jumped out, but I would say that we stepped out on faith and we went for it.
And then when you did that, when you took that leap, and then you were, kind of now you put all your chips on the table, right? You were like, okay, we're going to do this. When did you start seeing kind of those clues that, hey, this is going to work out. I think we're going to be okay.
I think I'm still looking for some of them. No, I think I realized that the amount of support that was out there, two ways. I had some really great mentors. I had one mentor that said, you really need to get certified as a women-owned business and get involved in GWBC, get certified as a minority-owned business with GMSDC, and it put a network of people around you. And then more importantly, within the franchise model, with our franchise, the owners across the country are very open to help and support, particularly the ones that had been around for a while. They knew the business a little bit better. And so we had a good network of people to learn from. And we had a very good consultant with the small business SBDC, the Small Business Development Council. I received from a good mentor that, hey, go to them, let them help you kind of get started and understand, what you need to do from a finance perspective and things like that. So I had some really good mentors that have been business owners that shared all their information and knowledge to really help us get started. And that, I think, kind of solidified the fact that, hey, we know we can make this work.
Now, nothing prepared any of us for the last few years with the pandemic, as you mentioned earlier. How were you able to kind of navigate that? Was that through the help of all those foundational communities that you're part of? Did that all contribute to your success to make it through?
I would say yes. A lot of that. I think what happened with us, one, we were small and lean, so we did not have to have any negative impact with our employees. We also recognized that people needed signage. If nothing else, there was a lot of COVID signs going out there. So we were in a good market that we couldn't shut down. You may pull back a little bit, but we actually pushed out there and from customers that we built relationships over the years, particularly those that came through our corporate customers, really stepped up and needed us, and we were able to quickly deliver. We actually went out and invested in a new piece of equipment that allowed us to do things to positively impact the COVID time period, the negative. So it was worth the investment because we were able to do jobs that we would not have been able to do in the time frame that we needed them had it not been for us stepping out and going ahead and getting the machine. So we kind of trusted what we knew. We had good relationships with our customers who continued, the ones that weren't negatively impacted, and we were able to pursue and continue. So we've had our best 2 years, the last 2 years. So that says a lot.
Yeah, that's amazing. And going forward, is that something that's doing some of these things that you had to do kind of in a crisis mode? Is that some of that going to bear fruit down the road, you think?
I think so. Yes. I think that once you stabilize and people know you're there and people know that they can still trust to get things out, because there are quite a few in this industry, that didn't make it, that had some really tough times. That we had one of our suppliers that stopped doing a certain part of their job that we got a lot of business from, that pulled back or rescaled. And you have to be able to find other means of filling in those gaps and finding other suppliers that did do well, that did make it, and then relying on your staff. And, I will also say that, we are thankful for the opportunity to get the PPP money as well as the EIDL money that just gives you a little bit of undergirding so that you can continue to go out and build your business while, the market might be still up and down.
So now, is there anything that you're kind of nervous about moving forward into 2022? Is there any challenges that you're kind of dealing with right now?
I think, nervous, you stay with nervous, just don't ever let it catch you. You're always a little nervous. You just try to keep outrunning it. And so I think, sustaining existing customers and getting new customers is always going to be the main focus. And so there's right now we got a little bit of a lull. We thought we had one earlier last month. It picked back up. You go through these ebb and flows. So anytime you have a little bit of a lull, you kind of feel like, okay, where's everybody and what's everybody doing? And then, it pops right back up. So try not to let those continuing to market and look for new ways to get your name out there, because you're not out cold calling, you're not out running in and out because nobody's in a lot of businesses and nobody's letting you in either. So you got to find, different ways to reach more customers. So doing some investment in those areas kind of helps keep those nerves down.
Can you talk about an event that you're planning for 2022? Is there any event that you're planning that maybe is going to help either serve your existing clients or get on the radar of some new clients?
I have not nailed that down. We always try to have some type of event here where we can recognize our customers, where they come in and see the equipment and kind of have a open house event. But because of where things are, we have not started to look at how is that going to work out. So if we do anything like that, again, we've done that in the past, it'll be toward the summertime. So I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll be able to have our customer appreciation day. That's usually what we call it, and get customers in to see our new equipment, see some of the new things we can do. So that's what we have on the radar. But right now, we're not close to pulling the trigger on that.
Right. And then it's one of those catch-22s, right? Like you want to appreciate your clients and you want to let them see, kind of the behind the scenes magic. And also you have to be careful and cautious. Is there a way to do something like that virtually? Have you ever done anything like that where you've kind of given people tours virtually of your facility?
We did that. It's funny you say that, because we've done that with some individual customers and organizations where I've used my iPad. You put the Zoom on and then I can literally walk them through the whole facility, and actually show them the equipment running, and they can actually see some of the stuff. So we did some of that actually in 2020. We did that a couple of times where people couldn't get in, but they wanted to get a kind of an understanding of what we do. So that is, it's a good point we haven't thought about whether we want to go back that way. I think if we did it this year, it would still be a, kind of by customer or, market base, not just an open house for anybody to get on. It'd be a lot more challenging to manage through that. And I think people do want to come in and see. I think people want to get out of the office or out of their house and have some hands-on. We just have to be very cautious when we decide to do that.
Right. Yeah. It's I've done some traveling recently, and there's some tours that I've done is like go behind the scenes of there was a chocolate making company, and then they took you through the whole process from how they take the beans and then they get the seeds and they grind. So you saw all these big machines working, and you see the process, and it was, they tried to do it in a very safe way. Everybody was separated and masked and everything, and it was just an interesting glimpse kind of behind the scenes to see how something that the people working there probably just are like, it's not amazing to them, but to
it's a regular day.
Right. But to, a person that doesn't know how these things work, it's kind of fascinating to see how, it goes from, one thing and then it turns into something different at the end. So now, is there any advice you can share for the listeners to how do you kind of stay motivated and keep the energy up and keep coming up with new ideas and great ways to serve your clients and find new clients?
Well, I think it starts internally with the person. I am a upbeat person naturally, or by nature, I guess you'd say. So sometimes they tell me I might be too upbeat sometimes, but I do think it has to come from that person. And I would tell people that, the person you can trust the most is yourself. You know what your strengths and weaknesses are, focus on your strengths and then get somebody else to help you with your weaknesses. So for me, having a business partner, my strengths are in marketing and sales. My weaknesses are in operation and, and driving the production side. And so when I know that I have those resources with our employees and with my business partner, then I can go all out and focus on customers and focus on growing the business. And so I think part of it is knowing who you are, what you do well, what you need to learn and work on. I'm always learning, trying to learn new things. I'm involved in a lot of organizations. And so I get opportunities to go through training. We had a next level training through the Atlanta Business League on last year, which was excellent and taught me a lot. And so the more I can learn, the less panic that you feel about what you're doing. Because the fear in being a small business owner is, not knowing what you don't know. You don't know what's missing because you're not aware of it's something that you need. So education is important to learn it. And I think when you get in front of people who like you, customers who, want to do business with you, they give you an upbeat feeling when you're talking to people who just are looking for something nice or looking for something special, and then you deliver. For me, it gives me a great feeling when customers leave out saying, "Oh my God, that's more than I even thought it was going to be." It's, "Oh my gosh, I wasn't even thinking about that," or, "Oh my gosh, thank you for catching that mistake," and and they didn't have to pay for it. So, those things, customers make me excited.
And it's important, like you mentioned earlier, is to surround yourself with networks or network of folks that are kind of on the similar journey that you're on, so that you can all learn from each other. One of those groups you mentioned was GWBC. Can you talk a little bit about how GWBC specifically has helped you, with your business and your growth?
Oh, yeah. One of the things I'm probably most proud of, last year, I received the Trailblazer Award for our category. And so just being recognized by them as a great small business was a reward I've been looking for and was able to receive last year. And I think it's because you have some commonality with other women business owners. Women, deal with a whole set of things that not everybody has to deal with. And then when you add businesses on top of that, the networking opportunities, even online, and people, reaching out to you because everybody wants everybody to be successful. I think GWBC provides that. And then what on top of that, just the relationship building, the educational part, the programming where you get a chance to hear from not only successful other businesses, but you also hear from those corporate businesses. What are they looking for? What type of business would they step out and do business with? How do I it's much harder to get my name out in front of, some of the large companies, than not having the ability to go through a GWBC and meet those same people online. And so we've had the opportunity to get involved and get engaged through GWBC with some corporate partners. And it's because of those relationships that they have that then allow us to to be able to meet those same folks. So those, I think, when you think about GWBC and what they offer, they offer education, they offer connection, and then they offer sponsorship with corporate accounts.
Now, for moving forward for your business, I know you're in the large format printing business. Have you kind of got a clear picture of the ideal client, or is printing something that is pretty much anybody in business, or even maybe not even in business only, could use your services?
Yeah, it's funny because it is not a single market or two market environment. Everybody needs some sort of printing. We focus on a corporate standpoint when they're looking for things within their business operation. We focus on nonprofits because they're looking for signage for revenue growth for that nonprofit. We look at government and schools because they need both connection for inside with students and parents and community people, as well as externally to promote any causes or any opportunities they're working on. And then we do, even individuals will find us, especially those small businesses that just getting started and they need something and they kind of want, they've got a vehicle, they kind of want to get some advertising on their vehicle. It may only be one vehicle, and if we can get them a good pricing opportunity, then that's advertising that every time they drive down the street. So it goes across the gambit of people. Everybody in some shape or form can use some part of what we do.
And if somebody wants to learn more, is there a website?
Yes, it is. You can go to SpeedProMarietta.com. That's SPEEDPRO Marietta, MARIETTA.com.
Well,
and then you can always email us at Orders Marietta, ORDERS MARIETTA, Orders Marietta at SpeedPro.com, and we respond back quickly.
Well, Littie, congratulations on all the success and a happy anniversary. 9 years is quite the achievement. It's a lot to be proud of, and then you're just getting started.
Just getting started. Thank you so much, Lee. Thank you for the opportunity. And thank you, GWBC, for this chance to talk a little bit about us.
Well, you're doing important work, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. This is Lee Cantor. We'll see you all next time on GWBC Open for Business.